In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all. This is an episode in a series entitled The Mercy of Allah God. And in this series I will show the mercy of Allah God Almighty unto His creation. And this presentation is entitled The Mercy of Allah God in the Human Foot. And I will show here some of the aspects of the mercy of Allah God Almighty in the creation of the human foot. Now, as an introduction to this presentation, if we ponder upon the first verse of the last revelation of Allah God to be with the Quran, which reads, "In the name of Allah God, the most compassionate, the most merciful." This is the first verse of the Quran. Now, if you ponder upon it, we see that Allah God Almighty links His name, the name of God is Allah. He links His name to the quality of mercy. What does this mean? Now, if you give an example to understand this, suppose that there's a person and you say that this person is generous. This means that this quality of being generous, this quality, it kind of dictates his actions, that all of his actions are kind of centered about or around this quality. Likewise, when Allah God Almighty links His name to the quality of mercy, this means that all of the orders of Allah God Almighty, His actions, are all based on mercy. Meaning that mercy dictates certain things, then comes the knowledge of Allah God Almighty to make this mercy like a created being. So also think upon another verse in the Quran where Allah God Almighty states, "And in yourselves will you not then see?" So here Allah God Almighty is urging us to ponder and reflect upon our body and how He created our body. So if we do that, and if we look at the human foot, we see that the first thing that strikes you, or you notice, that it has kind of a curved structure. It's like an arc. If you look at it, it's composed of pieces of bone arranged in an arc-like fashion. Now, to ponder, what's the importance of this, and how this links to mercy and the mercy of Allah God Almighty? Now, if you think about it, when you walk and you put pressure on your foot, this curvature in the foot, what will happen to it? It will open up. When you put pressure on the foot, this curvature of the foot will open up. And this displacement will be stored as energy in something called ligaments. Ligaments are the kind of the connective tissue, connecting bone together. And you can think about it like an engineering way. It's like springs. So when there is a displacement, like the two pieces of the bone pieces, they are widened. What will happen that this displacement will be stored like tension in the ligaments. It's like a tension in the spring. So when you want to lift your foot, the foot wants to go back to its original shape. So it gives you like an upward push, like a lifting force. And the importance of this lifting force is that it reduces the amount of energy needed from your muscles to lift your foot, to lift your leg. So this reduces the fatigue and eliminates pain in walking. So we see how the creation of Allah God Almighty is based on mercy. The mercy requires that there is no pain or fatigue when you move, when you walk. So it comes the knowledge of Allah God Almighty in creating the foot, as I explained, to give you this lifting force to reduce the fatigue and the effort needed in walking. So we see, brothers and sisters, how the design of the foot is all based on mercy. Another aspect, that if we ponder upon the foot, we see that it's composed of pieces of bone. And bone, as Allah Almighty teaches in the Quran, that Allah created humans from clay like that used in pottery. This means that bone is a ceramic material, like clay material. And ceramic material has a main characteristic from a engineering point of view, that is stiff and strong, but at the same time it's light. It has a light weight. So Allah Almighty created the foot, the main structural elements in the foot, from a ceramic material, these pieces of bone. They are light, and this light weight again reduces the amount of energy needed from your leg muscles to lift your foot and lift your leg. So again, reducing the energy needed during walking, and as thus there is no pain when you walk. So now we understand why the first verse of the Quran, it reads, "In the name of Allah, God, the most compassionate, the most merciful." Now I think we understand, we grasped why is that. And please, brothers and sisters, realize how much Allah God Almighty loves you, and He wants guidance. He wants to guide you, and the way to do that is to ponder upon His revelation, the Quran, and to realize that Allah loves you so much, and He wants to save you from Satan and what he whispers to you in your mind, telling you that God is one in three, telling you all kind of lies about Allah God Almighty. And Allah wants you to realize that Allah God is one. That's the first order and the first commandment in the Quran. God is one. And that we need, brothers and sisters, to realize that our purpose in life as Muslims, and to strive to make the word of Allah God supreme. And in this day and age, this is done by showing people the Quran and the miracle of the Quran, and how the Quran contains all of this knowledge. Because people love knowledge, and when they see this amount of knowledge in the Quran, the superiority of the knowledge of the Quran, they will be attracted to the book. And this attraction would be, Allah God willing, a way for them to be guided to the path of Allah God Almighty. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zquran@yahoo.com, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all.